Hello, I'm Celestine from Falmouth University, and I'm going to do a presentation for you today, an introduction to portfolios for applications to creative courses. So the first question is, why am I doing this presentation? Why is Falmouth University here? So I'm just going to quickly show you a little video, and this is Falmouth University. So, as you can probably see, Falmouth is a creative arts university. We have everything from fashion courses, we have a School of Film and Television with courses like animation, post-production, visual effects, we have fine art, we have photography, we have performance degrees, and for the majority of our degrees, you're going to need a portfolio. So, what is a portfolio? Most importantly, it's a chance to show who you are. We want to see what your interests are, where you kind of want to take your studies. It's idea development and your creative journey. We want to see those technical abilities, how you think, how you create. Really important, who's influencing you? Who's that person that you're looking up to? So, when you're thinking about your portfolio, you've obviously got a lot of work that you might have been doing over the last few years, and there's so much of it. And you need to start thinking about, what are you proud of? Which pieces stand out to you? Which ones really show your personality? So, universities will often ask, not just for the final beautiful painting that you might have created, but how did you get there? We want to see that journey. You want to check with whichever university that you are applying to that that's what they're wanting. Or do they just want the final pieces? Most want to see the journey, but you could be applying to one that just wants the final pieces. They may want to ask for work in specific mediums. So for example, you might be applying to game art, for example, and you might only have done painting before. Well, that's lovely, but for game art you need to be comfortable using technology, so we need to see that that's what you're doing. Think about having your best pieces of work all together. It can be much, much bigger than you actually need, and then if you're applying to different universities with maybe slightly different courses, you can just tailor that portfolio for that particular degree. And then, like I said before, please really do check with the university you're applying to as to exactly what they want. So, typically, most universities are going to be looking for 10 to 20 pieces of work. At Falmouth, we're probably looking for about 15. We would want to see 2D, any drawings, any sketches, any collages. 3D work, we'd love to see some models, sculptures. If you're into fashion and you want to make something or you've made some clothing, we want to see that. If it is three-dimensional, you can't put it in an art book and carry it around with you if you're coming in person. If you're doing an online portfolio, you can't put 3D pieces online either. So you're going to have to photograph them. It's really important to think about how you photograph something as well. It needs to be in a nice, clear photograph so that we can see exactly what we're looking at. You know, if it's got all the sorts of distracting things in the background. It's only going to distract from your work. We might want to see some digital things that you've done. Again, if you're thinking about animation and you've done some animations, we would love to see those. And if you're thinking about film, a show reel, maybe you've done some scripts, storyboards, photographs, anything that you think shows your interest in that course and that subject is really, really important to show us. So I mentioned before about the journey, the ideas development, and how you might show that. We have sketchbooks, mood boards, experimentation. We like to see that you're evolving, and we like to see that you're trying to push the boundaries of what you've done before. So risk-taking and research, not just drawing for drawing's sake. Why did you draw? Why did you create this? And just thinking about what's gone into that final beautiful piece that you've created. So here's an example. The final thing that somebody's going to submit is right here. But they started out with some sketches, they've tried a few things didn't really go to plan, not perfectly, and it's evolved, and then we've got the final thing that they want to show us. So sketchbooks are wonderful for our academics to see. And like I said, this is showing the journey. It shows that raw creative thinking. You know, how do you work? And it's the most wonderful way to support those final pieces that you do show us. If you do drawing, think about, you know, subjects in different media. You know, you can see here somebody has shown all the different aspects, and that's lovely to see that they're thinking about that. Strong start and finish. So if you think of it like a story, how did this start? How did it end? So you've got all of your beautiful artwork that you're going to show us. What are you going to do with it? Diverse photographs, show us quality images. Label things. What is it? But don't let those labels overpower the artwork. As I mentioned, storytelling. Curate. Be deliberate. Think about what you're putting in your portfolio. Oh, apologies. And only show work that you are proud of. So I mentioned before about photographing your work and how important that is. Think about the lighting, layout and background. You could show finished pieces alongside you know, anything that you've got for development. It gives a context to what you're showing us. If you're creating a digital portfolio, you need to think about who's going to be looking at your portfolio. It needs to be an accessible platform. You could do general file sharing, Dropbox, Google, Drive, Flickr. YouTube and Vimeo if you're doing you know, a show reel or something like that. There are lots of portfolio websites that you consider using. Behance is one that I see an awful lot of. Some people use Instagram. They create an account specifically as their portfolio. Wix is, you know, create a website, and Carbon Made. Once you've made your portfolio, try it from different devices. What does it look like on PC versus Mac? What does it look like on a phone or a tablet? Make sure that it is user-friendly and it's still as aesthetically pleasing as you want it to be on all of those devices. Also make sure that it does not have a password to log in. There's nothing worse than our academics not having that password to hand when they need to look at it, or if they want to go back and look at it later because they're making a decision on your place. So make sure you do not have anything that's password protected. It's just open and accessible. And it also says here, make it user-friendly, take care with large files. One way that Falmouth gets around this is that we would ask you to submit a URL or a Dropbox link or something like that. That way you do not have to compress the files and reduce the quality of your work. So, the mistakes. Lack of academic rigour. So you need to make sure that you are demonstrating the methodology. Show us your research, show us your planning, the idea generation. And then concepts and ideas. Aesthetics are nice, but what is standing out in that portfolio? Is it the pretty title page? Then in which case your portfolio isn't doing what it needs to be doing. Your artwork is what needs to stand out. Ask other people to look at it. People who know you well, but also people who don't know you. Ask them what they think. Don't be afraid to get some feedback. The presentation and the communication is so important for digital portfolios. You're not there. You can't explain your work. You need to make sure you are communicating it. And then making up the numbers is a really big mistake. At Falmouth, I'd rather see 10 wonderful pieces of work than 15 or 20 questionable pieces of work. You have got to be proud of every single thing in your portfolio. So top tips. Think of it like a good story. You want the beginning, you want a middle, you want an end. Present your portfolio in appropriate format. Showcase your process. Include sketchbooks and or any preliminary work. Include a variety of ideas, techniques, and processes. And as I said, quality over quantity. Stand out. Think about you. What makes you stand out? Unique experiences, personal projects, any collaborative work that you've done. Show us your character, your individuality. Tell a story and leave us wanting to know more about you. Leave our academics excited to see what work you're going to produce when they're teaching you. Thank you so much.